Skies are blue in Boise on senior night, where the Broncos need a win to keep those hopes of dancing alive. We've got Boise State and Fresno State in the Mountain West. You're watching March to March on CBS Sports Network, presented by Principal Financial Group. Early evening in Boise in the Mountain West, and the last regular season game of the season for the Broncos, the Bulldogs of Fresno State paying a visit. How important is this game? If you're Jerry Palm and you're projecting the NCAA tournament this morning, you've got Boise State as one of the last four in. That being said, Rich Welts along with Dan Dickow, because of that, Dan, it's not a stretch to say that if the Broncos want to get an at-large bid to the tournament, they've got to win this ball game.
Yeah, you're exactly right. They are coming off of two road losses at San Diego State, which aren't as bad as you might think, considering San Diego State is top 20 in the net, but they can't afford to lose one at home where they have been perfect throughout the year.
Very entertaining matchup, and two of the most entertaining players in the conference, Derek Alston Jr. of Boise State, Orlando Robinson of Fresno State.
Two really fun players to watch, but for different reasons. Derek Alston Jr. is such a great story. Started his career as a walk-on, now as a senior, a true NBA prospect. Fourth in the Mountain West Conference in scoring at nearly 18 points per game. He has been instrumental in the continued resurgence of Boise State basketball. And for Fresno State, Orlando Robinson, the 7-footer from Las Vegas, continues to improve as a sophomore. Leads the Mountain West with 8 double-doubles on the year. In the first meeting between these two teams, 17 points, 9 rebounds. He's going to need to do that or more for the Bulldogs to win on the road.
Well, the Bulldogs are in town, and they are hunting an upset. The Broncos have visions of madness. We're in the Mountain West tonight.
College basketball on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by Principal Financial Group. Learn more at principal.com/worth. And by AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure.
Senior night in Boise, Idaho. Yes, there are some fans in the arena. Orlando Robinson and Fresno State ready to go. Both seniors start anyways for Leon Rice, Derek Alston Jr., and Abu Kijab. And you never know, maybe one or two will be back next year. And for Fresno State, they have very few seniors around. Look at this lineup. Sophomore, sophomore, sophomore. They're talented. They won a game at UNLV, lost a tight one at UNLV. As Dan pointed out, the Broncos went down at San Diego State and lost 2 heartbreakers. So here we go, Dan Dickow. What's the pace and tempo of this one going to look like?
Well, both teams do want to play up and down. Fresno State really tries to make things difficult on the defensive end, and so many times their games will be a little slower pace because they are so great defensively. But Boise State's got a tremendous scorer in Derek Alston, who struggled in the second loss at San Diego State. The previous 4, over 26 a game.
Kijab going right to the bucket. And it's a turnover. It's a Fresno State basketball.
I like that initial play call from Leon Rice. Try to get Kijab going. He struggled in particular against the Aztecs. 5 points and 1 point in each of those 2 games down in San Diego. He is such a vital part to what they do.
Isaiah Hill runs the show for the Bulldogs. They have weapons. Deion Stroud can score. Anthony Holland as well. Junior Ballard in there. This is Stroud. Hill trying to penetrate, kicks to the corner, and that 3 is long from Anthony Holland. And Alston has his first touch. Armish screen, 3 on the way, missed it. Bulldogs like up tempo. Of course, their head coach, Justin Hudson, has been in a lot of really good places, especially his long run at San Diego State as one of Steve Fisher's and Brian Dutcher's assistants. Robinson against Armish. And Armish has really played well the last month.
Robinson doesn't have much of an issue backing down most bigs, but Armish isn't your typical big. He is big, strong, and physical. He doles out the punishment himself.
And Robinson can play outside. As a 7-footer, he can face up. He'll drive, kick. That one is money from Anthony Holland. He missed badly on the first, dialed this one back.
Have a terrific job there from Isaiah Hill, getting into the middle of the paint with dribble penetration. Create that defensive rotation, find the open shooter.
Shaver on a cut, lost the ball, and it's going to stay with Boise State. Third year, there are few teams in the country as affected by COVID as much as Fresno State and Justin Hudson. No summer, no fall, 3 long shutdowns. And for Fresno State, not many practices or workouts in all of those spells, which for a young and developing team is really tough. That's a nifty move by Alston.
That's just terrific footwork and balance and reading the defense overcommitting on the dribble penetration from Alston. And to stay on the tune with Fresno State that you were starting to talk about, Rich, is, you know, Justin Hudson has such a young ball club that he is still learning what all these pieces are and how they work together. And those 3 separate COVID shutdowns have been really hard.
That's a tough pass by Armish. Hill with the steal. Cut off by Shaver, who fouls him.
We get a little bit of a mismatch on that baseline out of bounds. Robinson is good laterally as a 7-footer, but it's a difficult ask to put him on Derek Alston Jr., who gets to the paint, and the nice finish on the step through.
That's another deep 3. And Anthony Holland, who shot just 23% from distance up until this point, has come out and hit a couple.
Well, that's scouting report defense. You've got to know that he wants to find open areas. 68 of his 88 field goal attempts on the season come from the 3-point line. You can't leave him, even though his numbers dictate he struggled throughout the year.
Armish muscles in for 2. How about another deep 3? That one from Hill, and it's off. Key jab in transition. Draws Robinson, who kicks it out of bounds. Leon Rice on senior night has been to the NCAA tournament a couple of times. He's had some near misses as well. And right now, as we told you with Jerry Palm, Boise State is one of the last 4 in. This certainly could help, and then it's on to Las Vegas for the Mountain West tournament, where they will be at least a 4 seed. Alston turned away by Robinson. Boise State wants goaltending. I think they'll have to settle for 2 free throws.
Poor closeout from Holland. Alston does a nice job of attacking and getting his shoulder down, create some contact. You know, Alston is an interesting and unique player. He came in as a freshman weighing about 145 pounds. He now is at 190, and he still looks skinny, but he's kind of got that skinny, strong athleticism to him. He is stronger than he looks. He does a nice job of attacking angles offensively to get himself to the line many times.
Bangs home a free throw. Even at 6. Look at Hale go. Length of the floor. Not quite Tyus Edney, though it was in the same arena. He misses the layup. That's well short. Alston, a good 3-point shooter, 40% and 62 threes this year. Stroud Deion Stroud has been scoring well lately. His last 3 games, 17 a game. Fresno State looks good offensively so far. Emmanuel Acott in the game. Ray J. Dennis floats one up. The Bulldogs are a first-half team. That's blocked by Armish. Fresno State's been off to great starts, especially on the road. And Boise State lately has had sluggish first halves, especially at San Diego State. Armish and Robinson spins. Robinson the block. Ballard pick and roll. Robinson doubled. Kick. Isaiah Hill. Ballard, end of shot clock. And he didn't draw iron. Whistle and a timeout.
Fresno State off to a good start. They're doing it on the defensive end. They're going to need more of this. A great block from Orlando Robinson.
There are 4 NCAA tournament caliber teams in the Mountain West. They'll be on display in Las Vegas here on CBS Sports Network. We start with the quarterfinals on March 11th. On March 12th, the semifinals on CBS Sports Network. And the championship on Saturday the 13th. And those 4 teams, San Diego State, Colorado State, Utah State, and Boise State, don't sleep on Nevada. With that backcourt and their outside shooting, that's a dangerous team. And of course, you got Bryce Hamilton at UNLV on their home floor. This is going to be fun. San Diego State right now is 19 in the country. In the net, they're a top 20 team as well. Colorado State is projected in the tournament. Utah State is just on the outside. Leon Rice and Boise State last 4 in Jerry Palm's projections this morning.
Yeah, and I like what Leon has done in Boise this season. You know, when you look at 4 of their losses, 2 of them are on the road at Nevada, who you mentioned is kind of an upstart with a great backcourt, and then the 2 most recently at San Diego State, who's a really good ball club. The thing that they've done best is protect home court, undefeated at ExtraMile Arena.
Emmanuel Acott has not shot the ball well of late, and that's a good sign for Boise State. Hammers home a 3, Broncos by 1. Another 3 from Stroud, or rather from Holland. Anthony Holland has hit 3 threes.
Well, once you hit the first, you have to start shading to him defensively if that's your assignment. After he's hit the second, you need to really start taking away his open looks. That is a scouting report mistake for Boise State.
What do you do after he hits the third?
Don't leave him.
Max Rice in the ball game. Devonaire Dutrieve in as well. This is Dutrieve from 18.
That's a tough shot right there. The transfer from Arizona. He's had a little bit of ups and downs over the course of the season at Arizona, or excuse me, here in Boise State, but he is super talented. He's got length, athleticism, he can D you up, and then offensively, he's still learning what Leon wants done.
Christian Gray is fouled, and he'll go to the free throw line. Lucas Milner, who's in, picks up his first foul. This is the only senior the Bulldogs have, is Gray, who's battled shoulder injuries. Hasn't played last couple of games because of that shoulder, so it's good to see him in. And if you were thinking this was going to be a walk in the park for Boise State, Fresno State has gotten better and better as the season has gone along. And into March, remember, they beat UNLV in Las Vegas and then almost won that second game against the Rebels. Really felt they should have won that game. Rice penetrates and hits the floater.
That's where I think Max Rice has really improved from last year to this year, is the fact that he is getting known on the scouting report as somebody who can shoot it. When they close out hard, can you put it on the deck in 1 or 2 dribbles, create a shot for yourself, or make the right decision and move it to the next guy?
Lucas Milner, the junior, who didn't get a lot of time early, had some huge minutes against Utah State with a block and picked up the loose ball. Milner, the catch, and in traffic, Isaiah Hill. Colomario is in for Fresno State. And this is Gray spinning and missing. Key jab, and he's fouled. Big night in Boise. Broncos need to win this one. Bulldogs on top. You're watching March to March on CBS Sports Network, presented by Principal Financial Group. Huge game for Boise State, but it's Fresno State channeling their inner Dan Dickau and hitting some deep threes.
Well, I like to think of myself as a shooter back in the day, and I tell you what, Anthony Holland has made himself known early in this game, has struggled throughout the early part of the season, but tonight he has been hot. 3 of 4 from beyond the arc. Missed his first, then he's been lights out in the next 3 opportunities from beyond the arc. Boise State must find him and run him off the line.
And again, Fresno State is an improving team with almost their entire development wiped out over the summer and the fall and even into the non-conference. Whistle and a foul. Dan, in COVID terms, there is no even ground in college basketball. Some teams were affected a lot more than others. For Justin Hudson and Fresno State, it's all about where the county is. What type of outbreak did you have in that area? What restrictions does the school have? And with a young team, that's tough.
There really is no equal playing footing in college basketball this season because of the reasons that you mentioned. You got state and city guidelines, county guidelines. You've got school restrictions as well. And really, most coaches have to understand is the deck is not going to be equal and even. We must make the best of what we are dealt. And I think when you talk about Justin Hudson, the conversation we had with him last night, he's really happy with the growth that his program and the young players on his team have had, based on the fact that they haven't had the amount of practices they normally would. I think he's doing a really nice job.
Give this team a full summer, fall, non-conference, another year to develop, and these sophomores who could still be sophomores next year, I think are going to be really good.
Yeah, you look at it, I mean, if you have half the amount of practices you normally would have, you're not able to put in your full package of offensive sets. You're not able to maybe put in enough defensive adjustments. And so for a young team where you don't have the ability to rely on what you maybe worked on last year or learned, you have to keep it really plain and really vanilla, and I think that's what Justin Hudson is really hanging his hat on. These are a couple things we've got to be great at this year.
Late shot clock, got to get it up, and a deep three. Acott. And the Broncos have a 2-point lead.
Acott, another transfer from Arizona, similar to Dutrieve, highest ranked player based off of high school rankings and Boise State history. He's got good length. He, again, has been a little inconsistent, but he's got a chance to be an impact player down the stretch.
Robinson, 37% from distance. They caught feeling it, went hard into the lane, lost the ball. Hollins hit 3 threes from that very wing. Inside, Colomario.
Weak side for Boise State's got to be connected. You go double Orlando Robinson when in the post, which is a good decision. You have to be connected on the weak side. Acott gets caught sleeping. The post entry feeder gets an easy bucket.
Armish against the 7-footer. Kicks it out. Dutrieve misses the 3. Let's see if the Bulldogs can run off the miss. Hill does a lot of running. Robinson rescues that pass and misses the jumper. Alston has been cold to start this game. He's 1 of 5, and he's coming off a cold performance in that second game at San Diego State, in which he was 2 of 12. Let's see if the double comes. Robinson jumper, good.
Such a weapon, that step off the block kind of face-up game. If you don't have that as a big in the day of college basketball, you're at a disadvantage. But Orlando Robinson is a problem early for Boise State. He demands a double team. You come, he's going to make you pay, both with the pass as well as if you're late coming, little face-up jumper.
Justin Hudson working that grease board right now. Fresno State a 2-point lead on the road at Boise State. We've been talking about the Broncos. Jerry Palm has them close. And you know what? We need to talk. Let's sit down with the head of the NCAA Selection Committee, Mitch Barnhart, to break down all things Selection Sunday tomorrow night at 11 Eastern on CBS Sports Network. So here's the resume, Dan Dickow. What jumps out if you're about to employ Boise State for a tournament?
Well, the net ranking of 34 is solid. I think they're clearly in, barring any major slip-ups, whether tonight or maybe early in the Mountain West Conference tournament. But the key wins on that upper right quadrant of your screen. BYU is top 20 in the net. They're a really good team. At Colorado State, I believe Colorado State's around 40 in the net. They're a really good team as well, with a good inside-outside duo in Isaiah Stevens and David Roddy. But the Utah State, you win 2 games against that ball club, that's meaning you are able to consistently perform, because Utah State has been really good over the last few years.
Another 3 for Fresno State. And the Bulldogs have stretched their lead to 5.
Such a advantage when you have a big that can make decisions with the ball and read the defense. Robinson that time, a nice cross-court pass for the
great catch and finish. That's Dion Stroud. That's a great sideline out of bounds.
Well, it might be a great sideline out of bounds, but if you're Boise State, you can't get caught on the top side and allow a 3/4 court pass, breaking some pressure, leading to an easy layup.
Marcus Shaver back in for Boise State. Broncos cold from distance, 2 of 7. And right now, Fresno State is beating Boise State down the floor. Robinson working hard, pries it loose, keeps the possession. Ballard, who just hit that last three. And someone is down. And that's Robinson.
You've always got to be aware in the game of basketball. Marcus Shaver, as well as the rest of the Broncos, get caught sleeping. Throw it over the top. Deion Stroud with a nice finish. It wasn't quite the flamboyant finish that he had the other night at UNLV, where he got a breakaway and he threw down a 360 dunk. I was watching it in my living room and I couldn't believe it. I asked Justin Hudson on the phone last night and I said, Coach, if he misses that dunk, what do you do? He just kind of laughed. He was like, well, probably take him out if he misses it.
Yes. I think he was biting his tongue as hard as he could when he said that. Because it was, what, a 6-point game at the time.
It was a close game, absolutely. But it shows you the confidence and the athleticism of that young man.
Fresno State with a 7-point lead. Stroud feeds the post. Robinson against Armish. Armish got a piece. Broncos would love to get Shaver and Dennis into this game in terms of scoring, and that is a start for Marcus Shaver.
Well, you called it. Get Shaver going. A little side pick and roll. Defense goes under. You got to recognize that what Shaver did. He goes under. You have all the space you need. Raise up behind. Knock down the three.
Hill, little pick and pop. Hill's a 39% three-point shooter. Finds Ballard, and he missed badly there. Now, it should have been a shot clock violation. Leon Rice nearly jumped out of his shoes, and the officials are going to come and look just to make sure it didn't hit the rim, which it didn't appear to.
I'd like to get another look at Leon on the sideline. I've known Leon since my time in college at Gonzaga, where he was assistant. And I don't know if I've ever seen Leon move that fast or jump that high, but impressive work by Leon, and looks like the officials are taking a look and cleaning that call up.
Well, the shot clock definitely expired after the ball came off of either the backboard. It didn't appear to hit the rim, and that's obviously a violation if it didn't hit the rim. But officials are able to get to the monitors and check. These are said officials, and that is said monitor. Leon looks happy. It's hard to tell with the mask, right? What kind of mood he's in now.
He's usually in a good mood, I will say that.
The story here is Justin Hudson's Fresno State Bulldogs, who beat UNLV on the road and nearly beat them twice this last week, have come to Boise in an enormous night for the Broncos. They need a win to keep themselves solidly in an at-large position. I mean, they obviously can get to Las Vegas and win the tournament and get to the NCAA. But if they win this game and do well early in that tournament, they have a great opportunity as an at-large team. Alston, Dennis, Armish, Shaver, good ball fake, missed the shot. Anthony Holland. This is Robinson, the 7-footer. Campbell around the screen. And Holland shuffled his feet.
If I'm Justin Hudson, my message to Holland is, why are you trying to put the ball on the deck? You've hit 3 threes in this first half. Just find yourself some space and shoot it with confidence. Don't overcomplicate the game.
Justin Hudson was a really nice point guard in college at Cal State Bakersfield back when they were Division II. And they won 2 national championships while he was there. And like Fresno, Bakersfield is part of the Valley, so it's a nice place for him to get back, and that's Armish.
Armish does a really nice job on the offensive glass. Around 3 offensive rebounds per game. He's aggressive, he's strong, he's got a nose and a knack for when to go.
Stroud. So the threes continue for the Bulldogs. Alston driving, got it up and missed. And a slow start for Alston, 1 of 6.
Oh, a slow start for Alston, but they're keying on him. That is really good defense. You slide your feet and you move without your hands on the defense. Orlando Robinson, a big-time trail 3 from the 7-footer. Fresno State has been on fire from beyond the arc. Dion Stroud knocking that one down. Bulldogs up.
You're watching March to March on CBS Sports Network, presented by Principal Financial Group. In the Mountain West, a very important game for Boise State, and it's Fresno State on the road, up by 8, using the three-point shot. Bulldogs are not a good three-point shooting team on the season, but tonight they are 6 of 11. And even the big fella, Orlando Robinson, is in on the act.
Yeah, you're right. Fresno State doesn't even make 7 a game on the year, 6 in the first half. You're going to win on the road, you got to do something out of the ordinary, and for Fresno State tonight, that's knocked down the 3-ball. Their defense is always going to be a constant.
And a driving lay-in by Dion Stroud, and the lead is stretched to 10. And Derek Alston continues to struggle. 1 of 8, 0 of 4 from 3. Alston around a pick. And a reach by Kyle Harding.
You're right, Alston has struggled, 1 of 8 from the field. He's missed a couple good looks, but you've also got to really credit Fresno State defensively. Under Justin Hudson, the principals are give up nothing easy. We're going to do a nice job containing the ball. Help is going to be there. We're going to be physical without fouling. If the officials are calling fouls, we're going to adjust and stay in your space, but Boise State's got to find a way to get Alston going, and that was a nice job on the baseline out of bounds. Get Alston on a flex cut.
It seems to me, Dan, that somewhere Steve Fisher, maybe Brian Dutcher are smiling at this. Not because of Boise State losing, but because of Justin Hudson and this defense talk. Because defense is in Hudson's DNA. He spent 10 years at San Diego State. And of course, Coach Fisher and Coach Dutcher, known for just great defensive teams. So it's no surprise that that's one of the real principles that Hudson has brought to Fresno.
Without a doubt. And he's in his 3rd year here at Fresno State, but for a few years before he got his shot as a head coach, he was talked about as one of the best assistants on the West Coast. Obviously, he's got a eye for defense, and that's kind of where he gravitates to, but he is a really good coach on both ends of the floor.
Christian Gray, great to have him back. You see the strap on that left shoulder and a little hook in the lane. This is the biggest lead of the night, 12. And the run is substantial for the Bulldogs.
Boise State's got to get something with some flow offensively. Fresno State is jamming cuts. They're doing a nice job on ball screens. They haven't got any easy open looks.
Key jab in the lane, and he walked. Here's his profile. We told you he was a dynamite point guard at Cal State Bakersfield. San Diego State coaching staff a long time. A couple years with Dave Rice at UNLV, Cal Poly as well. Ballard gets in. Someone got a piece of the shot. Broncos have been unable to really run tonight. Shaver in the lane, and he is fouled. He'll get a free throw.
We'll see if that's what Boise State needs to get themselves going. Shaver, because he can shoot it from the perimeter, attracts attention to Bulldogs. Close out. Shaver puts the ball on the deck, gets himself fouled, a chance at the three-point play. He was a terrific scorer at the University of Portland for 2 years before transferring to Boise State. And when you talk to Leon Rice about last year, they didn't win the amount of games that they hoped to. And a lot of it was because many times last year, their best team was their scout team.
That's right. They were dynamite. I mean, you had Shaver, Armish. Some really good players on that scout team. And Shaver's a guy, as Leon said, he's got an NFL body and he can make shots. That's a really good combination. Dutrieve was on that scout team. Acott, Kejab for part of the year. That might have been a number 4 seed in the Mountain West tournament last year. Stroud is fouled. Coming up, AT&T 5G at the half. We've got Brent Stover. We've got Gary Parrish. They'll get you caught up on all the scores, the highlights, and the latest news in college basketball today. AT&T 5G at the half. We're close to at the half, and Fresno State with a bit of a surprise here. A 9-point lead in Boise. This is Robinson against Armish. 3-point game has done it for Fresno State. They've hit 6 threes. Stroud rises. Stroud hits. It's a 2. I believe his foot was on the line. Well, they have, I think they've credited it as a 2. Broncos answer. Key jab. Final minute, first half. Hill finds a man. Robinson wrestles it away. Shot blocked. And it's going the other way.
Well, good job from Boise State there. Scramble mode defensively. Many times there's one miscommunication or one missed assignment. You put you in scramble mode. You've got to fight through it. You got to have active hands. That time, Boise State active hands knocks the ball out of bounds off of Robinson.
Acott and Dutrieve on this side of the floor. Armish comes for a screen. Can't split that screen. Got it back. Finds Rice for a layup. Just like they drew it up, he said. And the Broncos get a little lucky there and pick up a bucket and close the lead to 6 at the half. AT&T 5G at the half is coming up. Brent Stover, Gary Parrish on the other side. 35-29. Bulldogs in the Mountain West. You're watching March to March on CBS Sports Network, presented by Principal Financial Group. Huge game for Boise State. They are down 6 at the half. As we look at the numbers, Dan Dickow, what jumps out?
I think for Fresno State, only 3 turnovers. Boise State really does a nice job of forcing turnovers on the year, and that helps them play at the pace that they want. So you look at the turnover numbers for Fresno State and the fact that they knocked down 6 threes, which isn't normal.
Rich Waltz with Dan Dickow. Now, Boise State has Derek Alston Jr. He's a Conference Player of the Year candidate, and he's headed straight, everyone feels, for the NBA draft. But he's 1 of 8 and 0 of 4 in this one. How did they get him going, Dan?
Well, you got to give Fresno State a ton of credit because every time he's caught the ball, somebody has been in his space. He's had no ability for catch-and-shoot looks. He's had no ability to put the ball on the deck because they've done a nice job of cutting his angles. And help side has been early to react and really not allow him to get going. I would expect Fresno State to continue to key on him.
And this is why this game is so important for Boise State. Jerry Palm has them in the last 4 in. Fresno State comes in at 10-10. You lose this game, you're going to drop down in the net. You're going to drop out of Jerry Palm's view, at least as far as the last 4 in. Then, at 15-5, headed towards Las Vegas, if you're Leon Rice and the Broncos, you may have to win the tournament to get into the NCAA.
Well, that's getting a little ahead of ourselves, but it's fun to play that because guess what, Rich? You're right. It is March, and there's a lot of madness in the air. But if Boise State can just lock in and play the way that they have played over the course of the first 24 games of the season, I think Leon Rice is going to walk in to the locker room at the end of this game feeling much better about themselves than they did walking in at halftime.
That is Derek Alston's mom. She's here for senior night. His sister's here as well. Dad's not, because Dad is the head coach of the Knicks G League team, and they're in the bubble in Orlando right now. Derek Alston Sr., of course, had a great college career, played in the NBA, and has been an NBA assistant coach, now coaching in the G League.
I'm sure a lot of his experiences went into shaping Alston Jr.'s decision to come back for his senior year, and I tell you what, he has made a tremendous strides in the eyes of NBA evaluators. They need a lot more in this next 20 minutes from him, though.
Stroud, shot blocked. Shot clock still rolling down. That's Holland. He's wide open, and he misses the 3. Shaver with the rebound. Alston, trail 3, short.
It's a good look, though. Good job from Key-Jab to find him as a trailer in transition. Alston gets another look or two like that. It's only a matter of time before he gets going.
Robinson is comfortable facing or back to the basket, and he misses the fall away. Alston missed, lost it. Straight on bank from Isaiah Hill.
Terrific job pushing in transition from Hill. The defense doesn't stop you or give you any resistance. Just keep pushing it. It was interesting, though, Rich, with the choice to go off the glass. I'm going to say it's a choice as opposed to it just happened.
And the Broncos throw it away and turn it over.
A nice job of digging down on the post, coming up with that block. You must be aware, even if you're not guarding the ball, what's going on. If your teammate is put in a bad position, you've got to be ready to rotate quickly.
Do you get the sense that Boise State is tight here tonight with all that's on the line, senior night, and obviously playing to get into the NCAA tournament?
They very well could be. I mean, everybody knows this year is a very interesting year with COVID, and you're kind of locked in a bubble. You don't, have the chance to have a normal year. And the eyes are focused so differently, so there might be a little bit of extra attention put on themselves to focus in.
Ray J. Dennis with the block on that layup. Key-jab falling away. And that's a Fresno State foul on Anthony Holland. Alston's night right now is 1 for 11. That's coming off the 2 for 12 in the second game at San Diego State.
But he's one of those guys, Rich, that can really get it going. You mentioned the struggle tonight, the struggle in the second game against San Diego State, but the previous 4, he was on an absolute tear. 26 points per game, had one game where he hit 6 threes. He's a guy that he sees one go down. That's going to get his mojo going, and he's got a chance to really get on a roll. And Boise State needs it right now.
You're right. He's been able to flip a switch in a lot of games and really turn it on. 6-point Fresno State lead. Bulldogs with the ball on the road in an enormous game for Boise State. Boise State's last regular season game before the Mountain West tournament in Las Vegas. Isaiah Hill kicks. Holland back out. This is Campbell. Hits the three.
Great offensive possession for Fresno State. Drive, kick, shot fake, get the defense one more reaction, and then create an open shot for a teammate.
Nice fall away in the lane.
Jab recognition. He backs his defender down. If no help comes, right into your move. Fresno State has to react much quicker to that.
Good rebound by Hill. Another three from Holland. And the Bulldogs now by 10. Holland has hit 4 threes. Acott into the lane and hits a bucket. Boise State from distance, 4 of 11, 8 of 14. You saw those numbers for Fresno State. Robinson. Armish at times has held his own, but may have fouled there. 43-35. Bulldogs keeping that cushion. 8-point Fresno State lead. Let's take a look at Fueled to Win, the performance of the night, brought to you by Gatorade.
Well, the performance of the night is Fresno State from beyond the arc. Not a great three-point shooting team, but 8 triples on the night, led by that man, Anthony Holland. 4 of 7 from beyond the arc, including that one here in the second half.
To the shot selection, a couple things to think about here. Fresno State, in their last 6 road games, including this one, have had a halftime lead. Holding that lead has been an issue. They blew a 16-point lead at UNLV on Friday. And Boise State, when they start slow, has been able to turn it on in the second half. They scored 46 in the second half after trailing at San Diego State. That got the game to overtime, though they did lose in that overtime. Ray J. Dennis kicks. Acott, who has scored tonight, lays in a little baby hook with a left.
Ray J. Dennis won't get an assist on that play, but he came off a side pick and roll, got to the middle of the floor, and then kicks it to Acott. Because Acott's defender had to be in help side, he was late in closing out, giving Acott an end.
Dennis misses the dunk, but he's fouled by Ballard.
Acott getting in the passing lane, coming up with the steal. Dennis wishes he could have that one back and finish it as opposed to get fouled, get to the line. But last couple possessions, Dennis has done some of the little things that make an impact.
43-37, Bulldogs. Been a tough night for Derek Alston Jr.
Well, there's a growth and a learning curve to every player's game, and Derek Alston has absolutely made that over the course of his time in Boise. What you're seeing is a player that has the full attention and focus of Fresno State right now. 1 of 11 from the field, as you can see with that graphic, but it's only a matter of time before he gets going.
You know, his story starts with, right, 148 pounds, a walk-on, and everyone's told that story. But Leon Rice pointed out what is overshadowed by that story, which is amazing, is the mental growth and the things that he's done to make himself into an NBA-type player. And one of the things that really was important in his growth was watching Chandler Hutchinson, who made a transformation, really developed in his time at Boise State. And Alston said watching Hutchinson changed his definition of betting on yourself and confidence and what it means to be confident. And just like Hutchinson, although he had to go through it in Zoom and FaceTime with NBA scouts, he went through the NBA process this summer. He got evaluated, he got feedback, and he's used that as fuel to get himself where he is now. BJ Raines in Idaho Press had a really nice article this morning about his journey from that start when he walked on here to where he is now. 43-38 Fresno State. An altered three. Robinson missed the shot and a rebounding foul on Boise State. It's on Kijab. I mean, look, it's been a struggle tonight for Alston, but the Broncos wouldn't be here on the doorstep of the NCAA tournament without him. Offensive foul on a spin move by Christian Gray.
Great job from Kijab. It's called on the previous possession of fouling on the offense, or excuse me, on the glass, trying to keep Gray off. He makes up for it there by taking the charge. Too many times you'll see players compound a mistake, make another one because they're frustrated. Kijab might have been frustrated, but he got it done on the next possession.
This is Acott. He's done his best work in the paint. Ray J. Dennis buries the three, and that's huge, Dan Dickow. In the sweep of Utah State, he got hot and hit key threes in both second halves, and he cuts the lead to 2.
I think Boise State is best when he is aggressive looking to score. Only one time in the last 11 games has he been in double figures. He's got the ability to put the ball on the deck and create for others, but he can also shoot it from beyond the arc, just like that possession.
Holland misses the three. Armish tips. Dennis, loose ball. Streaks up the floor, and he's fouled. Can the Bulldogs keep that pace, that three-point shooting pace? They have 8 already. That's over their per-game average this year.
If they can. A little bit of a frustration foul. Those are the fouls that are going to frustrate a head coach like Justin Hudson. Yeah, you guys didn't get a bucket, but you can't foul 75 feet away from the basket. You're in the game. Just get back on defense, create a wall, which is one of the things they've really done a nice job of, is keeping Boise State out of transition opportunities.
Broncos down 2 here. Emmanuel Acott has played a nice game off the bench. 10 points, 3 assists, 3 rebounds. Whips it in low. Armish fouled. Shot blocked.
Well, you mentioned it. He's playing a nice game, 10 points. But this was a tremendous dime with the left hand. I, quite frankly, have been to a number of practices and games of Boise State, and I didn't think he had that in him. The vision, the ability to convert that pass. Right on the money. Armish at the line for 2.
What is Armish going to look like with a full season of development, another off season? He could be a junior again next year. He's taken some big steps.
Yeah, you look at this Boise State roster, and yes, Alston is going to be a big loss, as is Abu Kijab, but Acott, Dennis, Armish should make some strides. Dutrieve, and they've got a nice incoming recruiting class. Tyson Degenhart from Mount Spokane, my neck of the woods, I think has a chance to be a really nice college player as well.
Hill, corner 3, Ballard rattles out. Momentum squarely in Boise State's favor right now. And that Dennis 3 kind of opened the door for it. Dennis floats one up. Robinson cleans it up. Hill delivers to Robinson, and a foul on a reach, and someone is down, and that does not look good. Holding that right shoulder. That's Abu Kijab. He reached to try to block the shot.
Want to speculate, but he gets beat on dribble penetration, then he tries to slap at Robinson. Might be a shoulder. Well, I'm sure we'll get word as soon as we can find out, but the way he goes down, an obvious pain.
Kijab brings energy, versatility. He was key in the sweep over Utah State. That does not look good, the way he's holding his arm out from his body and walking into the locker room.
Yeah, that's a big loss for Boise State if it is serious. Kijab has had a really nice senior season, 12 points, 5.5 rebounds, but he plays hard. He's a tough cover. He plays a little bit of 4, a little bit of 3. He brings so much to the table.
Leon Rice had Alston on the bench for a good spell, almost like he felt he was trying to do too much out there, and we'll see how he impacts the game coming back in. If you've just joined us, Alston has struggled a bit at 1 of 11 and 0 of 5 from distance. Orlando Robinson, Fresno State has been out in front for most of this game, and this is a huge game for Boise State. They need to win it to keep themselves in the NCAA tournament models as an at-large before they head to Las Vegas in the Mountain West tournament. Aycott, that's nice.
When your leading scorer is struggling and your versatile four-man is out with an injury, somebody's got to step up. Aycott continues his solid play.
Good rotation. Ballard weaves his way in. Missed. Armish rips the rebound down. He's got 6 of them. Shaver trying to wrap around Robinson. And a whistle.
Manuel Aycott playing with some pace off the dribble. We got a good one in Boise.
You're watching March to March on CBS Sports Network, presented by Principal Financial Group. And tomorrow night, 7 Eastern, College Hoops doubleheader, Providence and St. John's at Carneseca. That's in the Big East, followed by a matchup, number 19, San Diego State at UNLV. It's right here on CBS Sports Network. That's no layup. UNLV is a dangerous team. Bryce Hamilton can go off for 25 or 30 on any night. So that's a doubleheader and a good one tomorrow night. Here, Rich Waltz along with Dan Dickow, 45 apiece. Fresno State has led most of the way. Derek Alston has struggled. And the Broncos desperately need to win this ball game.
Broncos can sense they need to get things done on the defensive end, and they have over the last 5 minutes and change. 0 made field goals for Fresno State. So whatever message Leon Rice had at that first media timeout has really sunk in. The only problem, though, is Alston has struggled, as you've mentioned, shooting from the field, and Kijab, we'll find out what his potential injury may be as he's getting looked at in the locker room.
Kijab favoring his right shoulder after trying to strip the ball from Orlando Robinson. Went straight from the court into the locker room. Boise State by 2 now.
Sorry, Rich. 3-quarter court pressure has been good for Boise State. Speed up, Fresno State not allow them to quickly and easily get into offense.
You saw that run at 14-2. Jordan Campbell into the corner. Stroud. He is athletic. Armish has controlled the defensive glass. Acott.
Nice catch in rhythm jump shot there. Many times Acott has a tendency, I think, to over dribble at times, but that was a quick decision. That looked good.
He's 6 of 7 from the field. His 15 points leads Boise State. And the run continues, and a floater in the lane. That's Jordan Campbell.
You want to beat a zone, you want to get that ball right where Fresno State just did. I call it the nail, right in the middle. If the defense doesn't react, it's simply catch, turn, face, easy opportunity.
Shaver falling away. Robinson has the rebound. He has 8 rebounds to go with 7 points. Campbell gets in tight. And Campbell and Acott were tangled up. 7th team foul. And so Acott's going to get to the line and shoot 1 and 1. He's 64%. Justin Hudson's Bulldogs were terrific defensively in the first half and hit a bunch of threes. They had 6 threes in that first half. They hit 2 early here in the second half.
That's one of the things that Coach Hudson has been trying to figure out with his ball club throughout the course of the year. How can we put together a consistent 40 minutes? They were great in the first half. Now in the second, they've struggled to score. He doesn't want to blame it on the multiple COVID pauses, but you know it is affecting continuity at some point.
Kijab back on the bench. You see the ice and the brace for that right shoulder. If you're just joining us, Abu Kijab, 12 points, 5.5 rebounds. This is him trying to block the shot of Orlando Robinson. He went down immediately and held that right shoulder. And he went from floor into locker room, and minutes later he emerges, not just with ice on the shoulder, but also that brace to immobilize the arm. And again, for the Broncos, you can't underestimate how big this would be. It's their last conference game. They'll get to 20 games, which is the conference schedule this year. Not every team is going to get there. But if Boise State were to lose this game, they would drop out of, right now, Jerry Palm's NCAA tournament model. They are a last 4 in. Win this game, and they have to feel pretty good about themselves going into the Mountain West tournament next week.
Well, every team is going to hit adversity at some point during their season. Boise State with 2 road losses at a good San Diego State, and then a struggle of a first half has found that adversity, but they've played really well in the second half.
The threes are starting to dry up for Fresno State, and the run has stretched to 19-4 for Boise State. That's a little ambitious for Armish.
It's the right idea. Just got to deliver on it and finish the play.
Fresno State has hit 1 of their last 11 shots. Let's see if they can get back to what was a very efficient and effective first half.
First half, they did a nice job running continuity ball screen, creating opportunities. Acott with the steal.
He had a few, I don't know if that was a Euro step or like a Euro step times 2, but it wasn't whistled.
Sometimes you hear the footsteps. Instead of sprinting in and attacking the rim for your own finish, you try to get cute with it.
Shaver going to work. and he draws contact. Broncos get back to the line, where they are a really good free throw shooting team. Senior night for Leon Rice. Just two seniors, Derek Alston Jr. and Abu Kijab. Senior nights across the country, Dan Dickow, are pretty weird right now because everybody gets an extra year of eligibility if they want them. So Kijab could be back next year. Alston, you've got to figure, is headed to the NBA.
Yeah, it's going to be the wild, wild west come April when the college basketball season is over, with transfers and many programs trying to figure out which guys are staying, which guys are transferring, how do I build our roster. I think it puts the most difficult position or determination on the young kids in high school, juniors and seniors who are looking to play at the next level.
Shaver trying to block Robinson out on that rebound, and he fouls him. Just the fourth team foul on Boise State.
Well, NCAA tournament teams, if you're going to win a game, you do it on the defensive end, and Boise State has done just that in the second half, forcing Fresno State to only 20% from the field.
Robinson has taken some shots today. They have been physical with him in the first half, and these last two whistles.
Well, I like what Boise State has done. In the first matchup, Robinson 17 points, 9 rebounds. And tonight, they've mixed up the coverages. Sometimes they've doubled, sometimes they've shown double and stayed at home. And they've made life difficult. Robinson, as you can see on that graphic, only 2 of 12 from the free throw line, from the field.
The lead is 5. A lot of basketball left here. Acott, big night, 17 points. He was bodied, walked, and it's a turnover.
Great defense there by Gray. Acott wanted the ball on the low block, called for it. If you're going to do that, you must deliver. Gray pulls the chair after Acott tries to create some contact.
Robinson out high. Kyle Harding in the game, and he strips of the ball by Shaver. Blocks the shot, but is whistled for a foul.
You got to be active on the defensive end. Marcus Shaver comes up with the steal, pushes in transition, gets himself fouled. He'll shoot 2 when we come back.
Boise State has flipped the script here in the second half and has a 54-49 lead. Time now for Worth a Watch, brought to you by Principal Financial Group.
It's been a tale of two halves, really, for Boise State. They've done a good job of playing off the bounce and creating opportunities, whether in transition or on the low block. And then Acott has put together a really nice night, 17 points. And as good as they have been on the offensive end and balanced on that end, they've been even better on the defensive end in the second half, really making life miserable for Fresno State here in the second half.
Marcus Shaver's had a quietly efficient night. 10 points, 4 rebounds, no turnovers. He's done damage at the free throw line. He's 5 of 5. Again, there's Kijab with the shoulder icing and the arm braced.
I don't want to speculate, but they're going to need him if they're going to win a game 2 in the NCAA tournament. I think with him, this roster is talented enough to win a couple games.
Lead is 6. Of course, they need to win this game if they want to get to the tournament. You would think as a at large, Dutrieve leaning on Christian Gray. And I think this game too is a signal that if you draw Fresno State in that tournament, they are an improving team.
They are improving, and they're a team and a program that I think as Justin Hudson will have the opportunity to have a full off season with this young, talented group, they've got some promising basketball in their future.
Robinson kicks. This is Hill. Gray. And another Boise State foul. 7th team foul. So Gray to the line, and his free throw is good. Tomorrow, 6:30 Eastern, Inside College Basketball, all things hoops. And of course, a doubleheader on CBS Sports Network. It's right here on the home of CBS Sports. The doubleheader tomorrow, Providence, St. John's in the Big East, San Diego State, number 19 San Diego State at UNLV. 4-point game here in Boise. Armish denied. Hill transition. Got it up and in. And a bucket. And he can cut the lead to 1.
Great finish from Hill, but Shaver with the turnover off of a poor angle and then compounds the mistake by not stopping the ball in transition and then fouling Hill as he's able to convert on the layup, put him at the line for a 3-point play. You got to give Fresno State a lot of credit. They've struggled this season at times due to the COVID pauses, the continuity, but they play hard. They don't give up, and they really kind of follow the lead of their head coach, Justin Hudson.
Justin Hudson told us something last night. Look, it's a young team, and you're right. They were shut down in the summer and the fall. 3 COVID pauses, not a lot of practices during that. But he told his young team, look, we want you to grow up now. Yeah, but you're learning on the job here. You're learning in conference play, but now's the time to grow up. And they have. They played well at UNLV. Oh, with 2 hands. That Stroud dunk goes awry.
Gotta finish that play. Even if it doesn't end up in a highlight type dunk, you just gotta lay it up, get the 2 points. It's too important at this stage of the game.
Alston cutting to the hoop, and Armish hits him beautifully.
Great recognition from Alston. The defender turns his head. That many times warrants an automatic cut to the rim. Alston does. Recipient of the nice pass and finish.
Hill tries to deliver it. It stays with Fresno State.
Defender turns his head, loses sight. Terrific back cut from Alston. He struggled tonight. Leading scorer on the season, only 6 tonight, but you better believe down the stretch, Leon Rice wants the ball in his hands.
Shot clock is down. Hill crosses over in the lane, puts it up. And Ray J. Dennis with an aggressive rebound.
Great rebounding traffic for your point guard.
Alston turns down a 3. Shot fake, then the 3, and he hits it.
There you go. Many times to score, all you need is an easy bucket, whether it's a layup in transition or the previous possession, a backcourt layup. It gets you going.
Robinson. Hill off badly. Dutrieve. Alston bumped. Alston, free throw coming.
Only a matter of time before Derek Alston Jr. got it going on the offensive end. Nice two-man action with Armish. And knocks down the triple. Gets himself out in transition, creates the contact. The finish, the chance of the three-point play. Boise State is starting to pull away.
Their biggest lead, 62-54, 5 minutes left. Alston has not had a great night, but sometimes you measure a player like this on his worst night. How does he react? Does he fold? Or does he bounce back? And Alston certainly has bounced back here in the second half. Let's see if Fresno State has some bounce back. Robinson and Armish battling in the blocks. Stroud. And remember that baseline dunk that he missed. Part of this Boise State run.
Stroud and Acott getting into a little bit. Stroud bumps Acott, ends up drawing the foul, and then kind of coming together for a little friendly banter.
Stroud is a Fresno native who started his career at UTEP. His uncle, one of the great Fresno State Bulldogs of all time, Carl Ray Harris, 5th all-time in the scoring list for Fresno State. And Justin Hudson told us yesterday he plays hard and he's playing harder on defense and he's starting to make his teammates better.
And that's big because when you look at Stroud, he's got potential. He kind of has the ability to turn it over at times. He gets a little overexcited to make plays for himself. If he can pull those reins back just a little bit, balance, creating opportunities for himself and understanding when it's not there and making the quick and correct decision instead of forcing it, he's going to be, or have the chance to be, a really good player.
Dennis around a screen. Rises, missed. That's going to stay a Boise State ball. (63-56). It's the final regular season game for Boise State. A win gets them to 15-5 and keeps them in most tournament models. Dennis kept it alive with a tip.
Back-to-back possessions, Dennis doing just that.
Armish. That long three. And now the Bulldogs need some points. Campbell out of control. Armish. Robinson blocked it. Good save by Isaiah Hill. And they turn it into 2 points. Dion Stroud with an athletic finish and a free throw coming.
Second time in the last couple minutes, Boise State has struggled slowing the Bulldogs down in defensive transition. Stroud takes advantage this time. He'll have a chance at 3 when we come back.
College basketball on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by PNC Bank. We're helping to make a difference. And by Marco's. Pizza lovers get it.
State capital of Idaho, and a big night for Boise State. Down most of the way. They've come roaring back to take a 5-point lead. Marco's Pizza hungry for the win. Emmanuel Acott off the bench.
He's been big. The transfer from Arizona has had some struggles with inconsistency throughout the season, but he is coming up big when the Broncos need it best and most, especially because Kijab went out with what looks to be a shoulder injury early in the second half.
.315 left. Fresno State hit 6 threes in that first half. And a free throw coming. Stroud hits it. Bulldogs have been perfect from the line. And full court pressure now in a 4-point game. Dennis missed the shot, and an opportunity for the Bulldogs. Hill, good rotation, 3 coming. Ballard hits it, and Fresno State is back within a point.
If I'm Boise State, I'm getting the ball back in the hands of Derek Alston Jr. Struggled to start the half, the game, but he has been dynamite down the stretch here in the second.
Armish and Alston, a little 2-man game. Robinson out on Alston now. Crossover, ball fake, jumper, missed it short. And Fresno State has the rebound. Isaiah Hill, 2:13 left.
They got him the ball, but there was no spacing, and then with the shot clock winding down, forced to that sidestep 3.
Stroud feeds Robinson into the paint. Bucket and a lead for the Bulldogs.
Big time shot from Orlando Robinson. You're going to play him in single coverage. He's going to take his time.
And the Broncos, all that hard work, and they're down a point. A foul inside on Leo Colomario.
Drag screen in transition, and then the nice ball movement leads to the Ballard 3. And if you're not going to double, Orlando Robinson's going to take his time, get to his spot, the silky smooth fadeaway to the middle.
Robinson has 11 points, 8 rebounds, and a free throw by Acott, his 18th point. Justin Hudson, Leon Rice, wheels turning. .64 apiece. Hill throws it away, got it back. A fortunate bounce for the Bulldogs. Hill has 5 points, but the little man has 10 rebounds in the game. Takes a 3, hits a 3. Wow. Isaiah Hill and the Bulldogs off the canvas and up by 3. And Boise State now down 3, a minute 6 left.
Big time 3 from Hill. If you're in Boise State, you got to get the ball in Alston Jr.'s hands.
There's the timeout. Flourish again. Here we go. 67-64. .67-64. Fresno State on top of Boise State. A minute left in a key game for the Broncos. Tonight's PNC Bank difference makers. How about Mladen Armish 6.7 rebounds, 5 blocks for the big man out of Serbia.
A really nice job on Orlando Robinson throughout the evening. Unfortunately for Bronco fans, Robinson got loose a couple possessions ago in a nice bucket, but we've got a tight one down the stretch here.
And you want the ball in the hands of this man, Derek Alston Jr. Doubled off the screen. That's a deep three. And he missed it short, out of bounds, and it goes Fresno State's way. 43 seconds left, and the Bulldogs sniffing an upset, up by 3. And a 30-second timeout, it looks like, for Justin Hudson.
Isaiah Hill, sophomore, transfer from Tulsa, originally from Bakersfield. He has grown throughout the course of the season. His last 5 in particular played very well. 11 for 19 from 3 in that stretch. That was a huge dagger.
And again, this is the last chance for Boise State before the Mountain West tournament. Jerry Palm has them last 4 in, a net ranking of 34. Lose this game, the net ranking goes up, and you probably drop out of Jerry Palm's tournament model. And you've got 4 NCAA caliber teams in the Mountain West headed towards Las Vegas, Dan.
It's going to be an interesting week down in Las Vegas. You and I will be calling the first 2 quarterfinal games. Should be fun, always is a great tournament. Last year, Sam Merrill hit that huge shot at the buzzer to beat San Diego State.
Oh, Fresno State. I think the original inbound pass was out of bounds, and it's going to stay with Fresno State. They may look at this, but a whistle wasn't blown. It looked like the original pass was deflected and went out of bounds. That's Armish, and he touched it, and it was out of bounds. Off his leg to begin with, and then he touched it while it was out of bounds. That was a near disaster for Fresno State.
Yes. Poor spacing on that inbounds play. Should be clearly Fresno State basketball. This is a pet peeve of mine when the officials take so long on what seems to be an obvious call.
Well, we've been able to watch it a couple times. You'd obviously like to get the replay quickly to the officials. In the officials' defense, look, this is a huge call. They want to make sure they get a look. Sometimes the mechanics are not always the friend of the official in terms of getting it quickly. 67-64, 42 seconds left. And on the blue, it came off the leg of Armish. And he bounced it. And so it will be Fresno State's ball. 42 seconds left. And Dickow, you defend it down the shot clock here?
Yes, I don't think there is any reason to foul. You want to play this defensive possession out, but you must rebound the basketball. Too many times in this situation, you'll see a great defensive stand, but then you waste all that effort and don't finish the possession with the rebound.
Remember, the Broncos are a terrific free throw shooting team, 74%. If you're looking for a weakness on the floor, it's Armish at 65%.
And on the flip side, Fresno State has been great from the free throw line tonight, a perfect 11 of 11, but over the course of the year, they are not very good from the line, only 66%. So I'm sure Boise State, if they do decide to play the foul game, which I don't think they necessarily need to get into yet, you want to force the ball and influence into Stroud's hands, who's a 60% free throw shooter. Robinson and Ballard only at 69%, Christian Gray at 64%. So if you're Boise State, you really want to keep the ball out of Isaiah Hill's hands because of his free throw shooting ability, but also his ability to make plays for himself and for others. He hit that big go-ahead three a minute or so ago.
I suspect the officials wanted to look at the game clock there. Fresno State up the floor. Isaiah Hill. Hill, an 88% free throw shooter. Kick back, Robinson three, missed it, and Boise State has the ball and life with 17 seconds left. Dennis into front court. Ray J. Dennis. Acott. Thinking three, got to get it up. Acott takes the three, falling away, and missed it. Boy, the Broncos did not get a good look. They had 17 seconds when the possession started, and Acott's three had a man in his face and was falling away, and Fresno State comes to Boise and upsets the Broncos.
Difficult last possession and shot for Boise State. Acott has had a nice night, 18 points. But you got to get the ball in the hands of your senior leader, Derek Alston Jr. in that position.
And here's the damage for Boise State. 14-6, probably a 4 seed, and probably out of an at-large bid right now when all the tournament models come tomorrow morning. It's a heck of an effort by Fresno State, an improving team in the Mountain West, and a team to look for in Las Vegas next week. For Dan Dickau, our entire CBS crew, I'm Rich Waltz. This is a presentation of CBS Sports Network, 24-hour home of CBS Sports. Coming up next, Big House, the Pearl, and the Triumph.